Tesla stock to $960 a share. That is what Gary Black believes. Today we're going to go through and react to, not a video, usually react to videos on this channel, but today we're actually going to react to kind of a Twitter thread here from Gary Black and go through the numbers he has for Tesla in detail, including all his valuation model. We'll go through all that, kind of talk a little bit about differences between maybe his valuation model and kind of mine I released recently in regards to Tesla a few days ago. And talk about all those sorts of things. And obviously, it's a very transformative moment for Tesla stock, right? With everything that's been going on, especially in regards to obviously the stock price going down. You've probably heard the news that used Teslas, the floors dropped out as far as pricing. So, I mean, I think if you're looking in the market for a used Tesla, this next, I think, few months is going to be a pretty opportune time. And so, with everything going on there, and obviously Elon Musk, the Twitter drama, all those sorts of things, I think everybody's got their eye on this stock right now and trying to figure out if it's an opportunity. I think looking at these valuation models and things like that are definitely helpful to kind of understand where this company could be going over time, or maybe not going over time, right? And so, yeah, if you've got any opinion in today's video, share it down in that comment section. I love reading through your guys' comments, especially in regards to Tesla. I also a couple photos for you here today. Beautiful sunset I got to take here in Arizona. I swear Arizona has the best sunsets in the world, man. Like nothing beats Arizona sunsets. Always incredible. And this little guy, man, he managed to get in the cake pan area. Holy smokes, that was no joke as a little sumo wrestler, okay? Alrighty, guys, let's get into this. So, Gary Black at Elon Musk has single-handedly transformed the auto industry to go electric. He has pushed Tesla into market segments, Cybertruck, Semi, Model 3, 30K on deck, right? Or a model of some kind, let's call it Model 2, whatever, 30K on deck. Full self-driving is transforming self-driving, absolutely. He attracts the best talent, absolutely. We need Elon as Tesla CEO to take us to a $3 trillion valuation. I would definitely want Elon to stay at Tesla. Like if I had my wish, I would definitely, hope that he stays on as a Tesla CEO. By the way, Gary Black, if you've never heard of him before, is managing partner of this fund. Essentially, he's also a registered investment advisor. The cool kids are all registered investment advisors nowadays, right? So next up here. Let's start going through some of the numbers and we'll get into the details. Here's where things start getting very interesting. Here's my path to a $3 trillion valuation by 2030. First thing, global EV adoption goes from 10% today to 60% by 2030. No, it's important. He's talking about 60%, not 100%. 60% of new vehicle sales will be electric vehicles by the year 2030, he believes. I think that's very fair, okay? I think there's a lot of people that feel like it's going to be between 80% and 100%. So I think a 60% number is very fair. Tesla holds electric vehicle market share at about 20% with Cybertruck, whatever the 30K model for Tesla will be, right, in new gigas, he says. By 2030, Tesla has 10 million deliveries and $32 a share of earnings per share. At a 30 times PE, 1.5x a PEG ratio, price to earnings growth, worth $960 a share. The stock's 120-ish, I think, today, somewhere in there, somewhere in the 120s, if I recall. At 3.5 billion shares as a $3.4 trillion valuation, right? Fully diluted. So let's go ahead and go run through the model and the numbers in depth here, okay? So if we look at this over time, he's got 2023, obviously he's got past years, right? But really we're looking at 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, and then he's got 2030, okay? And this is how many vehicles are, in his opinion, going to sell per year, okay? Total vehicles around the world. Then he has what he believes the percentage of those vehicles are going to be electric vehicles. So basically in 2023, he has 15% of vehicles being electric vehicles, which would be about 10 million vehicles. He has 22 million vehicles around the world, 22% of vehicles being electric vehicles sold in 2024, all the way up to 60% in 2030, right? And then here are the numbers, so the volume of that essentially, right? So the global electric vehicle market. So basically next year, the market should be around 10 million vehicles roughly. In his estimation will be electric vehicles sold of some kind around the world, right? Doesn't mean it's Tesla, it's just electric vehicles in general. In 2030, he has basically about 50 million vehicles being sold that are electric vehicles in the year 2030, essentially. Now, in terms of Tesla's market share in regards to the electric vehicles, right? He has it at 19.6 roughly in 2023, then getting all the way up to 20% in 2025. And he has that being the peak for Tesla. And then they would just maintain that market share over future years, okay? Which I don't think that's a crazy thing to imagine at all. I think Tesla's going to have much larger market share in markets, including the United States, including Europe. I think they can have much more along the lines of a 30 to 50% market share, a similar market share to I think Apple has with iPhone. I think that can be their market share that they can get into in the United States over the next 5 to 10 years, essentially. But in terms of the worldwide market, I think 20% is pretty darn fair, in my opinion, when it comes to electric. And so that's amazing, right? A lot of people think like every single electric vehicle that's sold in future years has to be a Tesla for Tesla to win. No, Tesla could be 20% of the market share, and they're a smashing success. Okay, so if we go through the numbers a little deeper here as far as deliveries go, right? He's got Tesla delivering, at least in terms of 2023, about 2 million vehicles, roughly. Then he has them doing all the way up to about 10 million vehicles in the year 2030 here, okay? So it's a very, very large number. I think that is doable for Tesla to be right around 10 million in the year 2030 nonetheless, which would be very, very impressive, obviously. That would put them... if you want to think about who's the big dog, Toyota sells, if I recall, around 10 million vehicles roughly per year. So that would put Tesla at that sort of scale, right? And, that's just, with the type of margins Tesla can command and all the other things in their business model that they have going, that would be pretty incredible, okay? As far as average selling price, he has an average selling price for 2023 being at $52,000 average selling price of vehicles. So that would actually be down versus his 2022 number there, right? And but still significantly up from obviously where things were at in 2021. But he has average selling price in 2030 being at $56,000 per vehicle. So he has that inching up over time, which makes sense. At the end of the day, think about this just logically, okay? And I understand Tesla's going to, be more affordable, but at the end of the day, vehicles just keep getting more expensive, and they will keep getting more expensive over the next 5-10 years when it comes to new vehicles. That's always been the trend. Regardless of if we have super high inflation, low inflation, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, look at a starter car nowadays. If you want to get a starter car in the United States of America, you're looking at $25,000 to $30,000 for a starter car nowadays, right? A new car, that is, right? Used market, obviously, you can go way under that price. But for a new starter car, you're looking at $25,000 plus. But, if we go back 20, 30 years ago, you could get a starter car for $10,000, $12,000. I remember my brother got a brand new Kia when I was still in elementary school. He's, many, many years older than me. But I remember he got a Kia. And that Kia was less than $15,000 brand new. I think that Kia was maybe $12,000 or something like that. $11,000 or $12,000 for his first new car he ever got. That's what it used to be. Go try to get a new car nowadays. And I remember the Kia was nice too, for those days. That was a nice vehicle. And, go try to get a brand new Kia nowadays for $11,000. Good luck. Good luck, okay? It's not realistic, right? Cars are obviously immensely more expensive, and they will continue to get more expensive. New features added. It's just the way it is, okay? Next up here, as far as Tesla's automotive gross margin percent, he has this increasing over time, okay? So basically, 2023, he has about 28.5% automotive gross margins, all the way up to 32% in 2030. So I don't think it's another crazy thing to imagine. Tesla's they have a history of just being able to get better and better margins. Look at their margin history over time, right? And, it's not like this is some crazy, from 28.5 to 32 over a 7-8 year span. That's not crazy whatsoever, in my opinion, okay? Tesla operating margin percent. He has operating margins being just under 20% in 2023. He has operating margins getting all the way up to 25%, 25.1% in the year 2030, which would be definitely very impressive, right? Adjusted net income for the company. Very intriguing when it comes to this, okay? First off, this is adjusted net income he has, okay? But 2023, $22 billion of adjusted net income for the company. 2030, he has his company doing $137 billion in adjusted net income. Very interesting number there, okay? Adjusted EPS for Tesla, he has $32 in 2030. He has, for 2023, he has $6.30 roughly, okay? And basically his numbers versus Wall Street numbers, obviously significantly more. It looks like the street on average, which I'm not sure how many analysts are really running their numbers this far out roughly, but it looks like the street's at about 7 million Tesla deliveries for the year 2030, right? Versus his about 10 million. And I would say my numbers are pretty in line with him in terms of that like 9 to 10 million range for how many vehicles they're delivering in 2030. And I think at Tesla at peak can probably get up to like 12 to 15 million someday when it comes to deliveries, nonetheless, okay? So very impressive numbers as far as what he has here. Definitely, he's got some numbers that are significantly above mine. I will say that, especially in regards to net income there. Okay. Now, somebody asked him, in order for Tesla to reach a $3 trillion valuation, what metrics would it have to hit? Yeah, I don't use Twitter very much, so I don't understand why people ask questions that should have already been answered. Like the man already had his valuation model up there. Like literally click on the valuation model and look at it. But anyways, he says by 2030, I estimate 10 million Tesla deliveries and $32 of EPS at a 30 PE, 1.5 times PEG ratio. That would be $960 a share. So yeah, a $3.4 trillion market cap in regards to good old Tesla miles on air. Now, I think, some things that weren't really covered in his valuation model that, I think the energy side of the business is really a call option. I think it is. Absolutely. It's got big potential and we'll see what happens there. But I think there's just something everybody's missing. I think even a lot of Tesla bulls are missing this, but certainly just Tesla folks in general are missing this, is I honestly think the services side of their business is going to be insanely huge over time. Okay. And I feel like this is kind of like, it almost feels like Apple in, 2012, Apple in 2010, in regards to specifically, maybe Apple in 2010, in regards to like people never understood like how big Apple's services business would become over time and like how much of a beast that business would become. Now we're in 2022 and the services is pretty much Apple's second biggest business after selling iPhones, right? And I think the services story is not understood very well yet around Tesla, but I think it will be over time as the numbers grow bigger and bigger for Tesla and that services business has up. And when I'm talking about services, I'm talking about things like I showed you right there, the premium connectivity, right? It's $9.99 a month now. I think over time that price is definitely going to go up. Let's just say that, okay? Things like full self-driving that are $199 a month now, right? I think the price on that could go up over time. Things like Tesla insurance, supercharging. I mean, there's so many things that Tesla is not even doing today, right? Obviously, maintenance in regards to cars, right? Like, things are going to go wrong in Teslas. We know things go wrong usually less in Teslas than other cars. But at the end of the day, the longer the fleet's out there, the older the cars will get. It's going to be problems that happen. So that's another way Tesla can generate money, right? And maybe even extended warranty packages, if that's something Tesla wants to offer. There's so many opportunities for Tesla that they're going to have a million ways to make services, in my opinion, services-related revenue over time. And I think that story is going to really play out. And I think some of those businesses are going to be incredibly profitable. When they have their auto insurance product really launched, around, I don't want to say around the world, but certainly at least around the United States, how big that business can be and how profitable that business can be. Oh my gosh. And it's another one of those that can keep people in the ecosystem as well. And, the amount of data Tesla has on how a car is being driven and those sorts of things, right? I think that's just one of those things that could be a huge cash flow machine for the company that I don't think a lot of people are even looking at right now or even giving any attention to. But I think a lot of these things it takes time to play out, right? No different than Apple's services business did not start getting respect until really the past 4 or 5 years. The past 4 or 5 years, that's when people started finally respecting Apple's services side of their business and started talking about it more. Wow, look at how big this business is starting to become, right? And nowadays, everybody talks about it. If you are going to talk about Apple stock, It's going to start with the services, actually, before you even start talking about iPhone nowadays, even though the iPhone business is still technically bigger on a revenue. It's just like people get so jacked up about the services side of the business. So imagine how many different services Tesla's going to have over time. And that's not the only thing they can do services wise, right? Imagine all the new products they're going to launch over the coming years. I mean, there's a lot there that I think just is being missed right now that I think will be a huge story for this company long term, right? Now, if you missed this video, I put out this video 3 days ago on the main channel on going into my projections for my base case around Tesla. And that's my base case. I have also an ultra bearish case, a bear case, a bull case, and an ultra bullish case for Tesla. This one went into my entire base case. So if you didn't get to check out that video, check that out. And you can kind of compare my numbers versus what Mr. Gary Black has here and kind of, and let me know what you kind of think and who's on the ball and maybe who's not. I would love to hear from you guys as always. Appreciate you joining me. Also, just for the new year, I basically made a course free for you guys, stock market course. So if you want me to text that over, that will be pinned comment down there. Just enter in your name and I'll text it over to you essentially. So appreciate y'all. Much love as always and have a great day.